The team continue to grieve over Wally's disappearance. Barry tells Cisco to ready the breach room as he plans to save Wally in a Speed Force. HR proposes that the team create something to anchor Barry just in case things go south. Jesse asks to come along, but Barry tells her to stay and protect the city while he is gone. Barry promises Iris that he'll bring Wally back and asks if he lost her. She doesn't say anything and walks away. Barry tells Joe that Iris called off their engagement and blames himself for changing the timeline one too many times. Cisco, Caitlin, and Julian develop an electro halo that will bring him back to their world should he get lost in the Speed Force. He says his goodbyes to everyone and Cisco takes him into the Speed Force. Barry is left alone and he finds himself at the CCPD. He runs into Eddie Thawne, who asks him why he is there. Barry tells him that he came to save Wally and asks Eddie where he is. Eddie tells him that Wally is trapped in a prison within the Speed Force and that has changed since he has last been there. Eddie tells Barry that he must be ready to spend an eternity in the Speed Force to save Wally. Back in the real world, Jesse asks Cisco to find Savitar using the blade Barry had phased off. Cisco warns her not to go after Savitar until Barry returns. Iris shows Joe the article with the different byline and tells him how scared she is of dying. Joe tells his daughter not to worry and that everything will be fine. Eddie shows Barry the consequences of his tampering with the timeline and asks if he has any other reason to be there. He tells Barry that if his only reason is to save Wally, then he just needs to go through the door. Time Wraiths appear and try to capture Barry, but he fights back. He's then able to evade them and get away. Barry arrives at Star Labs and finds Caitlin singing a lullaby to her and Ronnie's baby. Ronnie walks in and tells Barry that they need to talk. Back in the real world, Jesse continues to grow frustrated as the team struggle to figure out where Savitar is. HR, Caitlin, Cisco, and Julian agree that they shouldn't do anything until Barry comes back. HR tries to stop her from doing something stupid, but she tells him to stay out of her way. Back in the Speed Force, Barry tells Ronnie that he wants to sacrifice himself for Wally, but the latter won't allow it. Barry refuses to leave without him and is then attacked by the Black Flash. He puts up a fight but is ultimately defeated. The team panic as Barry's suit's telemetry goes on to fritz. Ronnie tells Barry that the only way to save Wally is to set himself free from the real world. Barry destroys the Electro Halo by exploding the Black Flash with it. Cisco tells him that the device tethering him to their world has been destroyed. Barry wakes up at Central City General and finds Wally looking over an empty bed. He calls out to him and is then attacked by Captain Cold. Meanwhile, Jesse retrieves a shard and goes to find Savitar. She knocks HR unconscious when he tries to stop her. Back in the Speed Force, Snart tells Barry that Wally is reliving his mother's death over and over. Snart then reiterates what the other Speed Force apparitions had said before attacking Barry. Jay Garrick appears and saves Barry and tells him that Cisco came to him after Barry's connection to the team was severed. In the real world, Jesse uses the shard to lead her to Savitar, who she finds. She tries to throw lightning at him, but he redirects it at her. HR helps her find his weakness and she wounds Savitar with the shard. Barry and Jay fight Snart before saving Wally. Jay stays behind as a prisoner in the Speed Force and tells Barry to stop Savitar once and for all. He gives Barry his helmet Cisco modded to pull them out. Cisco keeps the breach open long enough for the two to get back. Barry then tells them all that Jay sacrificed himself for him and Wally. They then all share a bittersweet reunion with each other. He tells them that Eddie, Ronnie, and Snart all try to teach him a lesson, that he must defeat Savitar himself. He tells him that Wally should stay on the sidelines after what he had seen in the Speed Force. Jesse tells Wally that she's going to Earth 3 to protect it while Jay is gone. They confess their love for each other and share a kiss. She thanks everyone and says her goodbyes before leaving. HR tells the team that Savitar can be hurt and that he is just a man, not a god. Barry returns home and talks to Iris about all the tragedies he had faced. He tells her that although he loves her, he proposed to her out of fear. He then tells her that he will save her by embracing the future instead of changing it, then breaks up with her. She leaves heartbroken and Barry is left crushed. Will Savitar be revealed? Is he Barry or Eddie? Is he the future Flash? Will the team save Jay? Who's excited for the musical crossover with Supergirl and Music Meister? Will Team Flash defeat Savitar? We'll find out in the next episode of The Flash.